facing the full might of Void Return Stage Master, Xianxia was naturally affected and his body froze in place. At the same time, a barrage of attacks was rapidly approaching as Wang Yuhan and the other Saint Kings had taken advantage of this opening act. These martial skills and artifact attacks each contained frightening power and seemed intent on killing Xianxia on the spot. As long as Xianxia died, the two women behind him would pose no threat. With this wave of attacks closing in, Xianxia's thoughts made the purple shield appear in his hand. The shield's two attributes burst out and, in a flash, a small sandstorm formed around Xianxia's trio, completely shielding their bodies. A loud noise rang out as the wave of attacks impacted the sandstorm, but none of them were able to penetrate its defenses and they were all quickly swallowed up and disappeared. Seeing this, Wang Yuhan's expression went cold. In Grand Burial Valley, he had seen Xianxia use this void-grade high-rank shield artifact and realized how extraordinary it was, but now that he had personally attacked it, he further understood how outstanding its defensive capabilities were. With such a defensive artifact, as long as the cultivator wielding it didn't run out of Saint Chi, it would be impossible for the few Saint Kings here to break through its defenses. It could be said that wrapped in this sandstorm, Xianxia and his companions were invincible. Excellent. The old man surnamed Wang's eyes flashed as a look of greed filled his face, excitedly declaring, "This old master wants that artifact." As he spoke, he condensed a huge pump from his Saint Chi and stretched out his hand to grab towards the spot where Xianxia stood, its 5 fingers appearing as imposing as mountains, like it could grasp the entire world. At the same time, an almost imperceptible golden light suddenly flew out from the sandstorm and quickly transformed into several golden threads that began cutting through the air. The huge Saint Chi palm condensed by Manager Wang lasted less than a breath before it was chopped to pieces by these golden threads, disappearing along with them in the next instant. Before Wang Yuhan and the Saint Kings beside him could react though, these golden threads reappeared in front of them and wove together to form a massive net that threatened to engulf them. "Be careful," the old man surnamed Wang hurriedly warned as he concentrated his chi towards these golden threads. But to his horror, these golden threads seemed completely unaffected by his chi and instead began cutting it apart before it could completely condense. "Impossible." Manager Wang's expression changed dramatically, suddenly seeming to remember something in the next moment and called out in horror, "Demon Blood Thread. This is the Demon Blood Thread secret technique of Demon Blood Temple." "You're from Demon Blood Temple?" Exclamation mark. He finally remembered the origin of this golden thread, but according to what he knew, the demon blood thread was not golden, instead it should have been blood red. The demon blood thread secret technique was famous across all Shadowed Star as it was one of the few techniques that could cut through chi. "Whether I'm from Demon Blood Temple or not doesn't matter." Xianxia's figure hidden in the sandstorm called out indifferently. Flicking his finger, which was connected to his golden thread, he swiftly captured the several enemy Saint King realm cultivators together with Wang Yuhan. At the same time, Xianxia sent out a faint signal with his divine sense, seemingly issuing a vague command. Wang Yuhan and the others were all at least Saint King 2-layer and their strengths were certainly not weak, but seeing the look of panic on Manager Wang's face, they knew that this golden thread was extremely dangerous, so each of them immediately put all their strength into defending themselves. With 2 of them even using secret techniques in order to avoid getting caught. But to their shock, before they could fully act, a sudden and sharp pain radiated from their knowledge seized, disrupting their concentration and movements for a moment and causing them to fail in fully condensing their Saint Chi or activating their artifacts. The result was them only being able to watch as the golden thread net enveloped them. A loud slicing sound rang out as the golden threads flickered back and forth before they were swiftly retrieved by Xianxia. However, the several Saint King realm cultivators, Wang Yuhan included, stood motionless, their eyes filled with terror, as if they had just witnessed something impossible. "Yuhan!" the old man surnamed Wang cried out in alarm. 7th Grandpa, Wang Yuhan opened his mouth to respond, a look of desperation on his face, but before he could finish his sentence, his body was suddenly torn apart and turned into a pile of minced meat and fresh blood. The other Saint Kings shared the same fate as Wang Yuhan, all of them shattering like broken mirrors, their wounds all extremely clean and smooth, as if they had been cut by an incredibly sharp weapon. With just one blow, every Saint King realm cultivator here had fallen. The scene was terrifying, and a rich bloody smell quickly filled the air. The old man surnamed Wang stood in place, staring at the spot where Wang Yuhan had been killed, his eyes flashing with rage as he saw the neatly severed limbs and shredded flesh. He simply could not accept this scene. The opponent was just a Saint King 2-layer, so how was he able to kill so many cultivations that are above his realm in an instant? This made Manager Wang wonder if he was seeing some kind of illusion, as he simply couldn't believe his eyes. After staring for a while at this though, he grit his teeth and turned his gaze towards Xianxia. Boy, you dare kill my grand-nephew. Speak, what kind of dirty trick did you use? Exclamation mark. Dirty trick. Xianxia sneered as he waved his hand to disperse the sandstorm shielding him, revealing himself again. Shooting a disdainful glance over at the old man, he said lightly, when you die, you'll understand. Ignorant child, you think you can kill this old master? Exclamation mark. The old man surnamed Wang roared angrily, his saint chi bursting out as a thick murderous intent condensed around him. Obviously, Wang Yuhan's death had thoroughly enraged him. As soon as he spoke these words, a yellow bell appeared in Manager Wang's hand. This yellow bell was small enough to fit in one's palm and looked quite unremarkable, but when Xianxia saw it his eyes shrank, and he didn't dare underestimate it. The other party was a genuine Void Return 1-layer master, but in order to deal with him, a Saint King 2-layer, he had actually summoned such a powerful artifact. Although part of the reason for Manager Wang doing this was rage, it was also clear that he realized he had to go all out. Just as Xianxia raised his guard against this strange yellow bell, Manager Wang flicked his wrist and the bell rang, its sound penetrating directly into Xianxia's ears. Xianxia felt his heart beat violently and the speed of the blood flowing through his veins rapidly sped up. This old master has never used this soul-burying bell against a Saint King before, so you should feel honored to die by it. Manager Wang grit his teeth and shook his hand gently, continuing to ring the yellow bell. Every time the bell's sound rang in Xianxia's ear, his heartbeat accelerated. This ringing was quite strange and irregular, and after the second ring Xianxia could already feel a sharp pain in his chest, as if his heart was about to burst. Xianxia's complexion changed as he immediately realized that no Void Return Stage Master should be underestimated. This old man surnamed Wang was not young, and although age did not have much relation to cultivation, over a long life one would naturally gain more and better methods of killing their opponents. Urging his Saint Chi, Xianxia forcibly suppressed the pain in his heart while simultaneously summoning his 100 Mountains picture. In the next instant, sending a phantom peak smashing towards Manager Wang's head. A rumbling sound rang out, but the old man surnamed Wang completely disregarded this phantom peak, not even trying to dodge it as it approached. Opening his mouth, Manager Wang spat out a black flag that quickly flew up and expanded to over a dozen meters in length and formed a cover above his head. When the illusionary mountain smashed down, a multitude of eerie shadow-like figures rushed out of the black flag and intercepted it, preventing the mountain from reaching its target. Boy, use whatever means you have at your disposal. Today, this old master will let you die convinced. The old man surnamed Wang clamored wildly as he glared hatefully towards Xianxia. Xianxia sneered repeatedly, old dog, haven't you made a mistake? It's not just me fighting you. You want to count on those two little girls. Manager Wang glanced over at Xianyu and Yang Yan disdainfully, but before he could finish speaking, his face changed dramatically as he saw Yang Yan actually take out an exquisite-looking miniature pagoda and toss it up into the sky, allowing it to gently float mid-air. This pagoda had 7 levels to it and each one exuded a different color. Each of the 7 layers of the pagoda began rotating as it floated, each one revolving at a different speed, creating a strange resonant melody that resounded through the air. This melody was extremely beautiful and sounded as if many different instruments were playing together, creating a harmonious ensemble. This mixed rhythm spread out a mysterious force that dispelled the pain in Xianxia's chest and even covered the dissonant sound of the soul-burying bell. A sound artifact. Manager Wang stared at this scene in disbelief, his eyes twitching unconsciously. His chi had been broken by Xianxia's golden blood thread, and the power of his soul-burying bell had been neutralized by this seven-layered pagoda, making Manager Wang suddenly feel as if his enemy had been specially put together to restrain him, causing his anger to erupt as well as a tinge of worry to sprout in his heart. Xianxia quickly charged the demonic flame sword in his hands, cleaving down as he laughed carefreely. "Old dog, just because Wang Yuhan thought of me as his love rival, you actually want to put me to death. Your care as an elder is truly awe-inspiring. Since you have come to threaten me, don't dream of leaving." Too arrogant. The old man surnamed Wang did not put this sword strike in his eyes at all, pushing his saint chi as he thrust his palm out to intercept it. In the next moment though, Manager Wang suddenly felt a sharp pain in his knowledge chi, as if something was tearing at it, causing his face to pale and a sense of panic to spread through his heart. But before he could investigate the situation inside his knowledge chi, another blade-like attack sliced towards his head, and he was forced to once again stretch out his palm to intercept it. The accident in his knowledge chi drew so much of his attention that he did not bother investigating this incoming attack, but when Manager Wang's hand contacted this black blade, he realized it was nothing like the previous sword wave. Feeling a deep sense of crisis, the old man surnamed Wang tried to pull his hand back but was a moment too late. The black blade-like attack was like the sharpest of weapons and sliced through the palm of his hand as easily as a hot knife through butter, proceeding without any hindrance all the way to his shoulder. Half of his arm vanished, as if it had been swallowed into the abdomen of some invisible beast, never to be seen again. To be continued.